If only.
This house. We must protect this house. Actually, turn around. Go back.
Turn around and get your ass back to Buffalo and eat some wings and stay away from the virus.
Ooh, you know what sounds good right now? Buffalo Wild Wings. Wait, where's my line? Food? Yes. Oh, okay. Guess what? I need Wingstop. Okay. Bye, everyone. Oh, wait. No, I can't do that now? Okay. Sorry.
Back Football Forever. I'm Alex Alvarado. That's Caleb Carter. Caleb, when we talked, we said that we were only going to have one game canceled, and now we had 2 games canceled. But it's okay because, well, there was enough entertainment from the other 4 to hold us over through this Saturday.
I thought you were going to say it was okay just because Eastern won. I mean, you can still say that if you want.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I kind of meant, but, it wasn't just Eastern won 20-19, and no one enjoyed watching it. No, it was an amazing game. It was an amazing game. And not only that, but the Toledo and NIU. If you watch the first half of that was pretty good. Ball State Central, they had 65 points in there. Akron, they broke the streak. They broke the streak of losing for 1,000 years in a row. And by 1,000, I mean 21 games or something like that. I don't know.
20 games?
20 or 21.
Too many.
What impressed you the most about the 4 games that we saw on Saturday?
That's a hard question. I didn't come away from this week with any big revelations about any teams. I knew Eastern was capable of throwing the ball around. I guess it's just that Western's defense is worse than we thought, and they've got to make changes there. But obviously Eastern did a lot of good things, and Western made some mistakes that we'll get into. But yeah, for me, the biggest surprise is just how Western they just had no answer to stop Eastern this week, and that was the biggest thing.
We'll have 4 games to talk about in a little bit. We already in the preview episode, there's no reason to talk anymore about Kent State Miami. Miami wanted to play some football still because they were healthy, but they couldn't get their games filled. And then obviously there was the news that as Buffalo was on the road to go to Athens, they got the call say, turn it around. We got a positive here.
Led to some friendly Twitter banter between Jared Dorsa and Jarrett Patterson of Ohio and Buffalo because Ohio grabbed a snag to win last year against Buffalo and beat the stuffing out of them 2 years ago. So if you're Ohio, I don't know that you have much of a means to smack talk the Bulls considering the season they're having, but it's always good to front, just stun a little on them.
The 4 games that we do get to talk about, though, today, Akron beat Bowling Green 31-3. Toledo beat NIU 41-24. Ball State over Central 45-20. And that result makes things very, very enticing because of what happened in Kalamazoo, which is at Western, previously undefeated, is now defeated by Eastern 53-42. Caleb, which game do you want to quickly talk about?
Let's go with the beatdown in BG. So we now know that BG is far and away the worst team in this conference. I think that there would probably be plenty of people who would have told you exactly that fact, but that question still lingered and existed given that Akron entered today being Saturday, on a 20-game losing streak and, struggled to do the most basic things on a football level. However, today, they made BG look like playground chumps, and that was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, no, it really, it's always fun to be like, oh, yeah, you finally got off you finally, stopped losing games for once. That's good for you finally. You finally figured out to do the football thing. But it's really, really fun to watch someone just, whip some ass too. And of course, and Bowling Green's not the best competition in the world, but Akron, it wasn't too long ago when Akron was right there. And for them to and we keep saying how they turn things around, this was not the measuring stick game, but it was certainly the one that if you're at that level where you're definitely improved, you definitely can't lose this game.
Yeah. And I think if they walk away today in a close loss, like this season is just like, okay, we had the chance to play better and we hardly did. Maybe we played some better games. They ran the ball against Kent. Good God, have some of the defenses in this league shown that they're capable of just surrendering a ton no matter what. And Deion Dollard got that done today for Akron.
Did he ever?
Good Lord. And they really did not ask Gibson to throw the ball. Not that they've done that to any large degree this year. But
he didn't have to. I mean,
no.
Like Bowling Green was just not trying to win. Like here's how every drive ended for Bowling Green: fumble, field goal, miss, punt, pick, fumble, turnover, punt.
It still technically qualifies as football. So looking at the next game, Toledo and NIU. Hindsight's a nice 2020 where Toledo absolutely looked like the better team. I know going into this one, I rolled the dice and picked NIU. I thought this was the week where they would continue to mess with teams and pull out a win. First half made it look like that could happen.
Yeah.
But Toledo just did not stop scoring and moving the ball. NIU has had that problem all year, not being able to finish in the second half. Part of they're young, blah 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 blah. But Carter Bradley only his third career start, throws over 400 yards, and keeps them moving the whole day. And a lot of guys contributed. Again, what else is new with Toledo? Got some new contributions from some guys, and made some big defensive plays. Nobody really stands out as guys who just had like monster games, but a lot of guys made plays today and kept NIU in check. NIU had, I think, like 8 yards of offense in the third quarter, something like that. Really big response for Toledo's defense, given how out of sorts they were in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they opened up the first half, just matching Toledo every step of the way. They tied it up at halftime. I think it was 24 or 27 at the half. And then NIU had punt right after halftime. And, you can't do that, man. Like you had to, the first half showed you that you had to match them every step of the way. And then, in the second half, it looks like the inexperience just kind of fell through, but still with the inexperience, you got to the point where like, we were kind of amazed. We're like, holy crap, you're matching Toledo and scoring so many points early on. NIU is the team where like, I kind of expect them to like, they need to ease into things a little bit, or they kind of need like some turnovers to go their way so they can get the ball moving. But no, they did a good job against Toledo, and Toledo took them a while, but they responded. And, you already brought up Carter Bradley. Sucks to see Eli Bradley still sidelined, but
Eli Peters, yeah.
Yeah, but it's nice to see Bradley, do a good job. He's kind of a guy that you and I have talked plenty where like I was, pretty high on him, and I was like, get him going, man. Like let him make some mistakes out there. I don't care. Let's get him going. Yeah. So it's good to see him, being trusted a lot with 44 pass attempts against NIU. And then he still ran the ball pretty effectively too, from what I remember. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 44 rushing yards. Yeah,
and with Bradley, with a guy who really only has, he has 3 starts under his belt right now, but enough game experience in other games. You don't want to look too far ahead if you're Toledo. You still got a game to play. But if I'm thinking of Toledo, I'm thinking, okay, we know he's the guy now going forward. We know he can sling it. We know they can rack up yards and score points with him. If we see more of this and continued growth, then again, Toledo should be projected to have the best offense in the conference. But as it stands now, their starting quarterback's hurt, and they don't have a chance to make the title game. So it's kind of another wash.
Yeah, and Toledo needs to stop doing that thing where they, have 11 penalties in a game. Let's. I mean, we really only have less games to talk about now. Which one do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the good one or the boring one that was still good?
Well, let's talk about what Ball State did first of all.
The boring one, got it.
The boring one, yes. And Ball State managed to be a balanced, boring team, if you can appreciate that very non-coach-like sentiment.
Yeah, balanced state.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, throwing the ball around again today. They didn't have to rely heavily on the ground. They've had less of a focus running the ball since Huntley's been banged up, but they keep doing just fine. Jones and Evans back there in the backfield are toting it just fine. Some new receiving targets as well today for them. And this is every week this season, Ball State has surrendered fewer points. So they first game of the season, 38 to Miami. Then it went 31. I believe like 27 or 28 and 25 or 24, and today it was 20 against Central. They were essentially relying on their third string quarterback over at Central.
Mm-hmm.
They still have as you've said too before, they still have the type of line and guys lined up back there, the backs, that they should still be able to score points against Ball State, and they didn't.
Right, yeah. I mean, and to Ty Brock's credit, came in here, it's a grad transfer year. You're automatically QB3 because, of course, your grad transfer, you're kind of like finding your way through. Also, it's COVID year, so it's not easy to like learn anything. He was 20 of 30 for 188 yards, a couple of scores, a couple of picks, but whatever. And he had a really nice 82-yard touchdown run too. So I kind of want to give him credit where it's due. It's kind of hard to come in and, be the QB3 anywhere, not being the guy that's 100% trusted, and to, for him to still have a pretty good day, even in the losing effort, good for him. But yeah, Ball State, they really had to key on a few guys, and they did. Like Lou Nichols had 12 handoffs, 70 yards. Kobe Lewis had 9 handoffs, 19 yards. You stop them, you're going to be okay. You can let Khalil Pimpleton have, a 38-yard receiving touchdown run where he just gasses everybody. But if you're going to like stop the running backs with a team that's relying on its QB3, yeah, you're going to end up winning pretty big. And Ball State's done a good job of, we keep saying like all these like little like marginal things that they have to get right each and every week, in these games. Oh, they have to stop so-and-so. They have to stop so-and-so. They've been doing that. They've been checking off the boxes every single week, and like we keep waiting for like this ticking time bomb that Ball State perpetually is, but they haven't blown up in their own face yet.
And I mean, they're creating turnovers. They're stopping drives, which is like, it sounds stupid to say that, oh, you got to stop them from scoring, but I feel like Ball State didn't have that pedigree before to actually pick up consecutive drive stops and stop a team 3 drives in a row, 4 drives in a row. When I just felt like that did not happen in the past, and for them to be doing that now shows the growth of that defense and their finding that identity and having the playmakers finally developed in a couple of years into New's tenure, and kind of looking at this team as well. I mean, a lot of the guys who are going to come back next year, and I mean, are again looking too far ahead, but guys that are coming back next year could make a big impact. But if you're Ball State, you're not looking at it that way. You're looking at, we win one more game, we're playing in Detroit.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the way you have to look at it. Speaking of maybe playing in Detroit, they have to get past Western Michigan. And the reason why they can get past Western Michigan is because we just saw Eastern do it, 53-42. Holy crap, man.
That's weird.
That weird. I mean, you watched it too, and I'm the Eastern alum here, but I want you to lead. The answer to the question in my head is the offensive efficiency. What surprised you the most? Because here's the end of each Eastern drive today: field goal, touchdown, 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 field goal, touchdown, field goal. Like that is. Oh, and I forgot the one punt at the beginning of the year, whatever, and then victory formation at the end. So that's amazing. But what else kind of stood out to you today?
Well, for the balance that they had with the running game contributed in a big way, and I would not have guessed going into this game that Eastern would have like an 80-yard touchdown drive where they just didn't throw the ball. Mm-hmm. And if they did, I would say, oh, somebody busted a big run. Hutchinson busted a big run. Somebody came on, they had a wildcat package or a jet sweep, and I don't know, somebody else ran an 80. Yeah. Everybody was looking at the sideline when the quarterback snapped the ball, and he just took off. That was it. But no, they moved the ball down the field. Boone had his best game, right, as an Eagle so far, and some other guys obviously got it moving a little bit, and then turnovers helped. I mean, you talked a little bit about how that changed the makeup of the game.
Yeah, Western fumbled it away 3 times. No interceptions there. But yeah, we turn it over with dumb fumbles. They weren't always hard fumbles either, where you had to see a fist go through someone's cradle. Nothing like that. Just
loaf of bread fumbles.
Yeah, we saw one. I think it was the second one where Caleb Elby took the snap and then he went to hand it off, and then somehow the ball just dribbled it off the running back's foot. That's essentially how it works. You find yourselves into some easy turnovers. You better make the most of it. I wasn't expecting that much efficiency out of Eastern. So for them to pull it off on the road against Western, really, really good. Last year when Preston Hutchinson won, it was because nobody knew Preston was playing that day. We didn't really kind of know what his skill set was, and that was like the first thing Tim Lester said after the game last year. This year, we all knew he was going to play. We all knew everybody at Eastern. Like, there was no like surprise player out there.
The takeaway for me from what this looked like at times was just Western has too many talented defenders for it to look that easy for EMU. There were a lot of chances where a lot of looks where Western would have too deep safety look. Hutchinson would know where he was going to go with the ball before the ball was ever snapped, and it's just a slant or a shallow post right over the middle or deep post or whatever. And that happened to Tanner Canoe, a couple of those catches. Keon Williams had a couple of those balls. Hassan Bedouin. So yeah, it's just there were looks where it looked like I could predict where Eastern was going with the ball on the pass, but Western didn't have a clue. And for that to continue to be a problem against a team like this that throws the ball like it does is an issue. Like you should be very concerned if you're Western heading into the Ball State game.
We keep flying over the very obvious point that Western had 13 turnovers. Not 13 turnovers, 13 penalties rather. Felt like 13 turnovers, but 13 penalties. 13 penalties on top of the turnovers.
I didn't know how many.
It's like if it's not one thing, it's another.
I was aware it was a lot. I didn't know how many just because there was a segment of the game where I watched for 5 minutes and only like 3 plays happened. The other part of it was the sizable Western contingent on my Twitter was very vocal about the officials again. Did not think they had as much of a claim this week as they did the Toledo week, but I was aware at least.
Caleb, we talked about the games and we saw, what happened. We kind of talked about, what are the implications, and we'll talk about more of them next time we get together. But we have some helmet stickers to give out, which means we have to look at some individual performances. Caleb, what team do you want to look at first?
Let's start with the battle of the stinkers and the one team that we now think a little more highly of, Bubba Slaney. We put him up here every week, don't we? 16 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, big special teams play that helped set up what led to a punt block. And dude just makes plays every week. You gotta love someone like that. Tion Dollar, 26 carries, 185 yards, 2 scores. Jaquiz Cross, 5 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, a sack. Just a lot of guys making plays all around for Akron, which you love to see for a team that is trying to make strides. For BG, I mean, Alex, you can touch on it, but there isn't a lot to talk about.
No, they were just guys that tackled Tion Dollar. If you tackled Tion Dollar, that was pretty much it. I mean, there wasn't too much going on offense, so we didn't hand out any there. I got Darren Anders, Carl Brooks, Roland Walder, Jerry Roberts, Caleb Biggers. You guys are all doing pretty good, so you all get some stickers. Over on the west side, Toledo, NIU, Harrison Whaley. I like Harrison Whaley a lot, man.
Dude, he rules.
Yeah, he's an impact running back over there. He's not a world beater yet, but I think he's got potential for it. Daniel Crawford's been stepping up. You talked about him a bunch, but they showcased him plenty. And Tyrese Ritchie, of course, like he always has like 100
every week,
100 catches
every week
minimum.
Devin Lafayette, 13 tackles and an interception, and then Jordan Hansen with an interception as well. The freshmen keep making plays defensively because they absolutely have to. Meanwhile, Toledo, I think Alex who shouted out Deontay Johnson on Twitter, and we got some engagement. So shouts to every MAC player who likes our stuff just because it makes us feel good. Carter Bradley, 432 yards, 44 rushing yards, 3 passing scores. Micah Kelly stepped in, made some nice moves in the open field, 12 rushes, 72 yards a score. And then Denzel McKinley-Lewis and Isaiah Winstead had 14 combined catches for 216 yards with 2 scores. So another really good offensive performance down Eli Peters today.
Yeah, I don't want to keep reading off all these, but, we do have Ball State. We have Ball State and Central to look through. I mean, Drew Plitt did okay. The running backs filled in nicely. Will Jones had his first career touchdown. Good for you, bud. And, some defensive play from Brett Anderson and Bryce Cosby from the safety positions. Mm-hmm. Central, Ty Brock, you get a bunch of stickers because you did a good job, like I said. Tico Brown, Troy Brown, good defenders with Brown last name. Eastern Western, I mean, really everybody that played offense for Eastern, right?
Yeah, Darius Boone, Samson Evans stepping in, making stuff happen. Boone had 448 yards rushing. Hassan Badoon, 96 yards receiving. Kerry
Chad
Hernandez
Ryland.
defensively. Chad Ryland, baby. That's my guy.
MVP of the game, really.
Yeah, Hutchinson, Canoe. Canoe is just such a special connection with Hutchinson. It's ridiculous. Jose Ramirez with a pass breakup, a forced fumble, and a sack. Treek Spates continues to do stuff. He's fun. And Terry Myrick, again, showing up in the stats column. Lots of stuff.
Yeah, and you said, if you had just looked at the box score and were like, oh, if I would have only known Caleb Ellaby had thrown for this many, whatever's, 18 of 26, 288 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, I would have said that Western won the game. But no, that wasn't the case. But still, Caleb Ellaby individually had a really good game. Hooked up with some deep, deep bombs to Eskridge and to Sky Moore and to Jalen Hall. So I love watching Caleb Ellaby play so much. I love watching him play.
Yeah, for sure. And stickers to those guys, Hall, Moore, and Eskridge at the wide receivers position. Trey Hayward made a bunch of tackles, 14. Ali Fayyad was back in the action, so good to see him back at defensive end. And then A.J. Thomas makes plays every week, so no surprise he's getting stickers.
So, Caleb, do you know much about the 2008 MAC championship game?
It was Buffalo and Ball State, right?
Buffalo and Ball State. And do you know who was ranked at the time? That's right. It was Ball State.
It was Ball State, yeah.
They were undefeated. They were number 12. And then Buffalo came back and beat them after being down 10-7 at the half. Will we man, we're still way too far out. We're a little bit too far out. But you know what? After the results of this past Saturday's games, it's time to start treating that as a nice note for the previews. Looking forward to the MAC championship game in a couple weeks.
Western and Ball State as a matchup has so much more pizzazz about it. It has more color around it, thinking about that game now than it did even a couple weeks ago. And even though even at the beginning of the year, I would have said, yes, totally possible for Ball State to beat Western. Like, they beat them before and they play good games when they match up. But now it's a little more sexy this time around. There's Ball State's doing so much good stuff, and Western, while looking like world beaters at the beginning of the year, has dropped off a little bit. You can throw your narratives in there, but ultimately it should probably just be a really good matchup next week.